In this video, I want to talk about some new information that has popped up as a result to an interview recently done by Noisy Pixel with the devs of Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. And in this interview, they talk about how nearly 3 decades after its original release, Final Fantasy Tactics is making a long-awaited comeback. Square Enix is preparing to reintroduce the tactical RPG with Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, a remaster aiming to preserve the original's identity while modernizing its presentation for a new audience. So the director of Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles, has spoken in this interview along with the art director as well. The director, Meihiro, talks about how it's been almost 30 years and how it feels to return to the project, basically. And so he talks about how we're very aware that almost 3 decades have passed since the original game, but throughout that time, fans have continued to love and support it. That fills us with pride. Until now, we never had the chance to release the game again as a proper remaster. With the Ivalice Chronicles, we finally can. There are also many people who have only heard of the game but never had the opportunity to play it, so we hope this release will reach them. I'm definitely one of those people. I never got to play this back in the day. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan, love the series. My favorite one is FF10. And the fact they're bringing this back in a modernized form, preserving it, I love it. Next, they were asked, how do you feel about this back to the basics renaissance that we're in with classic style games? Will we see a push towards highly graphical games or more 2D HD style games? The director responds with, I don't know if I would say classic games are expanding so much, but the evolution of hardware has allowed for more expressive visuals. At Square Enix, we've made titles like the Final Fantasy VII Remake with cutting-edge graphics, but we've also embraced simpler, more stylized visuals. He says, I personally enjoy both. What matters is that player choice has expanded, and I think that's wonderful. I agree 100% with that. Most definitely. The art director, Minagawa, says, I'm quite simple in this regard. Before this project, I worked on Final Fantasy XVI, which fully explored high-end graphics. With Tactics, I felt like I could do a complete 180 in style. Taking the graphics of that era and modernizing them excited me. Next, they were asked, after so many years, do you still learn from working on Tactics? The directors replied with, I replayed the original a few years ago and was reminded how complete it was. The game design, combat, soundtrack, and story were all tightly made. The turn-based battle system still holds up today in 2025. Even with modern hardware, this kind of design remains enjoyable. Minagawa goes on to say, as a graphic designer, when we considered rebuilding a strategy RPG, we did think about a full 3D remake, but we realized that could undermine the overall balance and atmosphere. That's why we kept a stylized approach in line with the original game. What new systems excite you in the Ivalice Chronicles? My hero responds with, our vision was to keep the strong story and systems from the original, while making them accessible to modern audiences. One step was improving the battle system. In the original, checking turn order required digging through menus. In the Ivalice Chronicles, we've added a combat timeline always visible on screen. That's huge. That's a big change. And then he says, we also implemented full voiceovers and script edits by Yasumi Matsuno. With voices and the updated script, players can feel more emotion and immersion. For longtime fans, it deepens the story, while for new players, it provides an approachable entry point. When I heard about implementing voiceovers, I was excited. Even as just a player, voices alone enrich the experience so much. Alongside that, we fine-tuned lighting and rendering, similar in feel to HD 2D to create a more vivid presentation, says the art director. Then they were asked, does this release open the door to sequels or more tactics games? My hero responds, the strategy RPGs are extremely fun, but also a bit niche. Yeah, if the Ivalice Chronicles succeeds, it shows there is business viability for this genre. That could open doors to other titles or remasters. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I think there's always a space for strategy RPGs, and they're a lot of fun. Yes, they're a bit nicher or more niche than your typical turn-based or even action RPGs, but you still have successful ones out there. I mean, heck, Fire Emblem, to a degree, I mean, that's strategy RPG too. Heck, freaking Baldur's Gate 3, that's technically a strategy RPG as well. You got some of these strategy RPGs, RTSs, and stuff like that. They're still fairly popular. And lastly, they are asked, do you have any message for fans ahead of launch? The director says, this time, the game is releasing across several platforms from PlayStation 5 to Nintendo Switch. We worked hard to ensure the same experience regardless of hardware, so players enjoy the story and gameplay fully on the platform of their choice. Yeah, and it's also coming to PC too, which I'm excited for. Then the art director says, for the first time players, this may seem like a classic style title, but the story is evergreen and still resonates today. During development, I had to test across different language options, and I encourage players to appreciate those details too. Nice. So, in case you don't know, Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles does release on September 30th for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Nintendo Switch, and Switch 2, and PC via Steam. So, pretty much coming out on everything. And it's just awesome to get a game like this to come back. I don't know what else they can pull from. I think I talked about this in another video with Square Enix in terms of like what else they can remaster, what else did they, remakes like that from the PS1 era. I mean, Final Fantasy 9 remake we know is in the works, quote unquote. I mean, it hasn't been officially announced, but technically there have been like leaks and rumors. It's essentially confirmed that. So it's wonderful that they're doing this, bringing them back, preserving these games. I'm wondering what else they could bring out of their library, bring out their bag in the future, to preserve that fans would love to see. Maybe some other hidden gems that none of us got to play, that are RPGs and action RPGs. Who knows? What do you guys think about this, though? Sound off comments below. Is there a game from Square Enix's library you wanted to bring back, remake, remaster in some way? Love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, I would appreciate a thumbs up, subscribe for new, and I'll see you guys in the next video.